You know, the more I observe this in people and in their engagement with me, sometimes, especially the conflicting engagements, this concept or illusion of a relationship with Jesus is truly just a psychological mind trick. The relationship of Jesus serves as a pathway of dissociation, a pathway around your soul. You don't have to confront your shadows, right? You can divert your mind onto your love affair with Jesus, whereas you're actually running from your shadows and you don't want to own the shadow side of you. So you're hiding that. You are avoiding that. You're dismissive avoidant in that you escape into the mental world, psychological world of the relationship with Jesus. It's not real. It doesn't actually affect anything other than in the moment it quiets your, is it the parasympathetic nervous system? It's a shift in your mind that basically shifts the gear into neutral and helps you calm your nervous system down. It's an illusion. You realize it doesn't have to be real for it to have an effect. But it's a psychologically bypassing effect. You're shifting out of that left brain. You're shifting out of the intensity of fight or flight, and by entertaining the fantasy of the relationship with Jesus, of fleeing into the arms of Jesus, the imagery is enough to calm down your nervous system. But is that coping mechanism a long-term solution if you're never going to address your shadows? You see, that's usually the people with the relationship with Jesus will engage and activate this dopamine hit, this temporary amnesia, this temporary escape, to relieve themselves of whatever stressful trigger they're facing. And they allow that to calm down their nervous system, but then they are not going to take the time to become conscious of the triggers that caused this bypass reaction in the psychological mind. Do you know what I'm saying? You're just basking in that feeling of love hormones, right? It's all chemical. It's a chemical process. You just put a visual of a person, of Jesus, onto the chemical process. But the name and the imagery of a relationship, the romance with Jesus, releases dopamine, right? And that has the calming effect on your body. And that's why you think that Jesus is influencing your life. Now, it's all chemically induced. So you make yourself feel good for a few minutes, right? Until you forget about the trigger. And then you never look at the trigger itself that caused you to flee into the arms of Jesus, to flee into this idea of Jesus loving you because you're feeling a threat, so you need to find the mechanism to counter the threat. So running into the romantic arms of Jesus, into this love, will counteract the threat. But it's physiological. There is no Jesus actually doing anything for you. It's all happening in your mind. And what I'm saying is you need to stop escaping into these dopamine hits. It's just like people who take mushrooms, and go on psychedelic trips. They're escaping. If they keep on doing that and become addicted to that, they're just addicted to the dopamine. They keep escaping the subconscious shadows. You need to, at one point, become aware of your shadows, your triggers, the things that make this feel threatening to you. You have to work out why these things feel threatening to you. Is there actually a danger, or is this some response that got formed during your childhood trauma, right? Without you starting to look at your shadows, you're just going to loop in this fight or flight, and you're going to keep fleeing into Jesus until the next trigger, and then you flee into Jesus again to make yourself feel better. But you need to ascertain why you are feeling threatened. You need to look at the shadow side of that and not just repeat the coping mechanism, the pattern, right? So once you clear your shadows, your trauma, your wounding, rejection, abandonment, whatever it is, and find the causes of that, and are they actually still true, or are you just reacting to childhood memories? You're just going to keep looping in this pseudo spirituality and stay disconnected from yourself. I'm sure you're not going to like this message, but I'm just, trying to empower you, trying to get you to stand up instead of flee. Stand up to these triggers and get to know yourself. Get to know why you are reacting in the way you react. Learn what's in your subconscious, in your right brain. Anyways, back to my garden.